Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and I'm bisexual, 19 years old, and this is my coming out story. Okay, so I actually have two coming out stories. I don't know why I did this. Yeah, first is to... Okay, so let me just tell you the whole story. You know when you come out, you tell your friends first, and then you tell your parents. But I only tell my mother because I'm free to speak to my mother. So I told my best friend Marcus and my best friend Christina. I told my aunt because she is bisexual herself, so it made it kind of easier. And she told me that she always knew. It's funny how the females know because they're gaydars. I don't know. She knew. I guess it's the way I acted or something. I don't know. I'm sorry for the way I sound. So it's like a week or two from my birthday, and I wanted to tell my mother maybe on my birthday night. We got back home from my dinner that I usually have for every birthday, and I wear glasses. Yeah, so it was like 2 weeks from my birthday, and I wanted to tell my mother so bad. So I was going to tell her when we got back from my birthday dinner. We usually do that on my birthday every year. And she's coming to California, yay! Okay, that was really gay. So it's like probably 9 o'clock at night, my mother comes back from work. Beforehand, I was on my computer on Facebook speaking to my boyfriend on the IM chat that's at the little right hand corner of the screen. And I didn't close the tab. And I should have. But you know, my first notion is not to think my mother's going to go search into my things, you know. But my mother is very nosy, and that's how she found out some things. Mum, you're nosy. Let's just say you're a very nosy person. I know I get from. I love you though. That's a really crooked heart, but whatever. So I go, she comes home, but like 10 minutes later, I'm in the shower, and all I hear is Tyrone. I was like, yes. She's like, who is Kenny? I was like, oh fuck. No, that's not what I wanted right now, because I didn't want to tell her that night. I wasn't ready for it. So I get out of the shower, I'm just like, shit. So I open the door and she's standing right there. It kind of surprised me. And she's like, who is Kenny? I was like, that's my boyfriend. And her look kind of changed, like, it was like, something like that. I can't really do it. I don't really remember the exact face that she made, but it wasn't the most pleasant to look at. My mother scares the hell out of me sometimes. So, I told her that, and she walks away, and I go in my room. The next 10 minutes she walks in, she was like, so, were you ever planning to tell me? And I was like, yes, but not now, the night of my birthday, when I actually felt a little bit more comfortable. I don't know what made me think what difference between that and then was, but I wanted to tell her my birthday, not 2 weeks from it. Because I turned 18, so I thought, you know, that'd give me a little extra boost to stand up, you know, and say, hey, look, this is what I do, and this is what I like, you know. Yeah. Yeah, she comes back, she was like, were you ever going to tell me? I was like, yeah, when I was ready to. She was like, why didn't you tell me before? I was like, because when you're not ready to tell someone something, you don't tell them until you're absolutely sure, unless you're forced. In that case, I was forced to tell her who Kenny was and what what my sexuality was. That's not what I wanted to do, but the time said, you know, you have to tell her now. There's no backing away from it. So as I was saying, my friend knocked on the door, so I had a brief interruption, but I'm back now. Yeah, I had to tell her then. So I was like, I was going to tell you when I felt comfortable. And when I was younger, what child would say at maybe like 10 years old, "Hey mum, I may like boys"? What? Who wants to say that? I didn't. So I told him, I told her, sorry mother, and she was like, I forgot what she said after that. It was just not a good situation. She looked so disappointed. I was just like, damn it. Well, I wanted to tell her when I was 18, but, you know, if she wanted to kick me out, she'd kick me out, and I'd have somewhere to go. Thank God she didn't, but at times I did feel like I wouldn't be able to come back home if I ever left, you know. If I left for an hour, I think my doors, locks would be changed, and my key wouldn't work to come back into that house. And it was a really bad situation, actually. Yeah, to come to think of it, I didn't really like it. It was the toughest thing I've ever went through.
I think he's rather nice,
Yeah.
then. You have. Oh no, I think you ought to give him a chance.
But over a couple of weeks, she started to acclimate to it. She started to, you know, this is his life. I can't really tell him anything. So yeah, she started to accept it, and things got great. I could actually go and speak to her about my boyfriend and whatnot at the time, the problems we were having, and things got back comfortable, you know. She brought up the religion aspect side of it a lot, even though I didn't really like it. She's like, don't try and, I already know what I'm going through. I've been through it, you know. I don't want to hear it anymore from, especially not from you, but that's what I expected.
Look, please, if we're going to spend the rest of our lives together, you must learn not to interrupt.
So the second time I actually had to tell someone, actually like face to face, it was really important because I'm with her. I love her so much.
Functioning normally.
Yeah, she is really into Christian. I'm Christian too, but you know, she was actually doing church every Sunday. All the other stuff, you know, that involves. So I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 days before I was supposed to leave. And because she lives in Virginia, so I went up there. At that time, I definitely thought I wasn't going to be able to come home. This is before my mother actually accepted it, or was getting used to it. So she's sitting on the couch, and I was like, "Hey, can I talk?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "So can I put my head in your lap?" Because, you know, if she wanted to like hit me or something, it kind of it made a little better situation. So I did that, and she was like, "Oh, did you do something bad?" I was like, "No, because it's the only way you'd have to escape it, sitting like that." So this is her lap, my head was hitting like that. I told her, I was like, "Amy, I'm bisexual." And as soon as I told her, it was better than my mother's reaction. She cried though. I know my mother cried like a couple of nights, and she was really sad and whatnot. But she cried too, and I was just like, damn it, that's not what I wanted. Wait, what do you expect when you tell someone that you're bisexual? Or you like guys either way? You're not really going to expect something good, you know. Some people like that, but not really. She cried, tears came out her eyes, and it was down she. I felt really bad, but there's something that you don't want to hide from her, you know. I've told my mother, I can tell my grandmother. So I did that, and she was like, "When did this happen?" I was like, "All my life." It's not just something I said, "Oh, well, no, I like guys." I didn't want that to happen like that, but I told her. And part of the reason she started crying was because my little godbrother acted just the way I acted when I was younger, very feminine. Well, not very feminine, but you know, being raised around females and not really having the male role model in your life kind of leads you more towards it. Not saying that he's gonna be like that, or that's why I turned out like that. No.
Nice, then. You have him. Oh no, really? I
But
think you ought to give him a chance.
I understand where she's coming from, because I guess that does play a role in it a little bit, but not really, you know. Yeah, and I was like, just because he's like that, she doesn't like me, doesn't mean he's gonna turn out like me. And she didn't mean it in a bad way, but I understand where she's coming from, and you know, there's nothing you can really say to comfort her. And just that everyone's not the same, you know. And when I speak to him now, he doesn't really have any of those feminine qualities he used to have when he was a little kid. So, I mean, it's not really that serious. But, you know, to a mother, it's not the same. So I told her, and I told her, she asked who I was going out with. I was like, this guy named Mike. I loved him so much. Yeah, I was so in love with him. And he was in love with me and he treated me so well. I met so family, Italian, nice body, 22. Oh, I loved him so much. And it was just so good to be in that relationship. I loved it. I loved every minute I spent with him.
What's your answer?
And I told her this, of course, and she was like, I'm glad you're happy. I was like, thank you. And, you know, we talked about it, and everything was everything, and, you know, I liked it. It made it easier knowing that I had support of my family. That, you know, so. So what I want to say now, if you want to come out, you know, go ahead and do it. If you don't think you're ready, don't let anybody talk you into thinking that you are. You know, if you're not ready to tell anyone, don't tell them. You know, wait till you're absolutely sure that you have the courage to go and say, you know what, this is my lifestyle now. So whether it be your mum, your father, your grandmum, your grandfather, your brother, whoever's important to you in your life, and you feel like you need to tell them. If you don't need to tell them right now, you feel you're not ready, don't force yourself to do it. But you know, so maybe sometimes you do need a bit push, because sometimes if you don't have that push, you won't tell them, and you need that sometimes, you know, because then you want to hide all your life. I'm not out to everyone. A lot of my friends don't know, but the ones that do, they still like me for who I am. You know, start out with a backup. You know, some people who you can trust. You know, who are going to support you for who you are and support you for the rough times ahead, because it's not easy. I mean, some people have an easier time telling their parents or whoever is important to them that they tell. Sometimes it's not that easy. So if you ever need support, have that. Go get your friends. If you don't have friends, feel free to inbox me on YouTube, and I will definitely be there for your support. I really don't mind, because, you know, I had a great support system when I was coming out of my godmother. I had my best friends, Marcus and Christina. They're my brother and my sister. I don't call them my friends anymore, because they're not, they're family. I had my aunt, who I already knew. I had my two cousins who were actually bisexual also. You know, have that support, and like I said, if you don't have that support where you live, feel free to inbox me and I'll gladly be your support. And I'm plenty sure the other YouTubers who have their coming out stories will be glad to be your supporters also. I haven't. If you need it, I'm here, because, you know, we have to support each other. It's not an easier thing. So that's my end, and I'm hoping you had a good time watching it. I'm sorry, but I'm sick, so I sound really different than how I usually sound. Thanks for watching.